He has. Oh, he's deactivated his own pieces here. Knight to d2 was the last move, and look how passive white is. I really like what Vidit's done, putting maximum pressure on this e4 pawn, tying down white's army, and really hinting that he might even break out from the bind at some point with d5. This white bishop needs to play some part, therefore I'm wondering whether he's calculating moves like b3 or b4. b4, will there be some tactics, Ivanka?
Yeah, let's try it.
Yeah, b4 looks like it's the most tempting move, trying to bring the bishop out. So now black is obliged to either retreat or... I don't see any tactics working. I was hoping to sacrifice something on this square, but unfortunately we have to trade off a bunch of things, and the white knight, of course, not obliged to step back to g3. There's other safe squares, and it's only a hit or two. Not worth the piece, so actually b4 would be met with knight to e6. Still a bit awkward. There's a bit of square. Deac does not look too happy with his position right now.
Yeah.
On the camera.
And also the clock times indicating that as well. Oh, but b4 played. And before it got wild.
Yeah, before it got wild. Before we moved away from this this game. Plays it and gets up from the board, and we'll see Vidit very quickly retreat his knight to a better circuit. Pressure passes on d4.
Yeah. And knight e6 is what we're expecting. Yeah, it's well, black has to be careful, right? I mean, one move you don't want to be playing, because you don't want to be going knight d7. First of all, that knight isn't such a bad circuit, but also the bishop on c6 doesn't have too many squares either, so you can activate your bishop. You've got to play. And then, yeah. Exactly.
d5 coming next. Who would you rather take here, Ivanka, assuming black plays knight back to e6?
White.
You'd rather take white? Okay.
I just love playing against like weak pawns and controlling squares. So here I would be going knight to b3, and I'd even be thinking about making, unless there's a problem here, I mean, first of all b5, but also I was inspired by Hikaru's like knight to a5 maneuver yesterday, which caused Shabarinov to panic.
Yeah, knight a5. As long as white can control the d5 square and prevent any breaks, white's doing fantastic. Okay, I'll say that black's position. I'm not sure why, but somehow it appeals just the way he's set up. He does indeed play knight to e6. I like the knight coming into d4, maybe f4. Maybe the black knight moves back at some point, and the black bishop comes out to harass this white queen.
Yeah.
I've always been a bit skeptical of the white queen sitting on e3. But yeah, it's very much in the balance right now. And it feels like the better player, more on-form player, will win this game. Not sure who that will be. But yeah, it looks like both of these taking some strategic risk in order to keep the game alive. Should we check out? We see him play it. Knight to f6. Oh, sorry, not queen g3. That would have been a blunder.
I nearly had a heart attack there, David.
That was me. Sorry, that was my slip. Going to the variation we showed earlier. Knight f6 check instead. So throwing the knight away to create a safe square for the white queen.
Okay.
So if black takes with the knight, of course the queen isn't hit, so you have time to move the bishop and retreat her. And if the bishop takes, one safe square. But he's still a pawn down.
Yes, but at least there's no light square bishop on the board for black.
At least his queen's still alive.
Yeah.
As well, more importantly.
But still, the bishop might have been gone. But there are some pawns that are going to be rolling up the board.
First of all, which way do you take?
Yeah, I like the idea of going bishop, but I am actually really afraid of. Okay, let's go bishop takes knight. Let's stick to my principles.
Forcing white to reply.
Yeah. See, and then I will really need to be careful here, because I feel like well, the two knights are a bit awkward, and so I could just imagine that there might be some c4s or whatever in the air. So I want to go bishop g7.
Protect the king.
Yes.
Actually, big threat on the board. This would re-trap the white queen.
Yeah.
If white were not careful, and not sure how to be careful here, to be honest.
is gonna come. The birds have just begun. We will always take a stand for the people, for the land. Let's go back to when we were young. For the animals we stand. Let's go back to when trees were swung. Kids across the land. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a ride. Savannah, I'm coming home. Savannah, we'll never be alone. Savannah, the beauty of the world. Savannah, let's all take a ride.
Maybe bishop takes knight. I say it reluctantly because I'm also allowing some knight jumps.
Ooh, didn't see that one, but if I jump in with my
Even knight takes bishop.
knight takes bishop is
enough
what
for
I
an
want,
advantage, but
and then
it takes d6 I was relying on.
okay,
Actually, maybe you do take the opportunity
Yes.
to jump. This is a family fork, hitting rooks, knight, bishop, queen. Not knight, but just
Yeah.
anything other than the white knight. Unfortunately, you can't fork a knight with a knight. I learned that recently.
Can you not?
Not with another knight, like somehow, 'cause they'll always attack each other. You can fork a knight with a pawn. But
Oh right, okay.
sorry, just random trivia. I was also trying to work out how many knights you could put on a board where they wouldn't attack each other. Do you know the answer to that one?
I think it's 9, isn't it?
No, it's not 9. One for
No,
the
that
audience.
controls the squares, right?
If you want to control every square on the board, probably 9.
Yeah.
But yeah, how many knights can you put on a board where they can't capture each other? Interesting
Oh.
question.
So this was this
a trick.
32.
It's 32.
Yeah.
Just if you put all knights on one color complex, all on light space, they don't hit each other. But yeah, this one, the knight hits everything, of course, and this would just be winning for Vidit. Actually, everything we're looking at in these variations, the tactics work in black's favor.
Yeah.
So in the current position, I love your bishop takes knight. It's also nice to force the opponent's hand. Knight takes, and white has plenty of options. White can play bishop f1, white can play c4. White
just-
has other move up on c5. If in doubt, you can start bringing the black king.
I was going to ask that, shouldn't we just introduce the king into the fray? I love the idea if the king gets to g4. I mean, that is just the definition of domination.
Yeah, it can come this route. It can come into d5. He actually does retreat his bishop, so logical move there as well. This is based on the fact the white knight cannot go and take this pawn. This would actually just simply drop a piece, maybe lead to checkmate, closing a mating net around the white king. So bishop c5 looks like a powerful, almost unstoppable threat,
Yeah.
Bianca.
Absolutely unstoppable. And then, okay, now the rook comes.
Sorry,
No?
knight takes d4. That was my move. Rook to a8. Let's refresh. There we go. Rook
But
a8.
Can
Hitting the
you?
black bishop.
Okay, so, well, they're being sneaky, right? Because if you do go rook to e3, well, then suddenly white will just jump up and go bishop to e4.
Bishop b4. It still looks lost. After rook takes knight, you can take a bishop, but the
Yeah.
might of the h and soon d pawns, those should overwhelm white. It feels like the only blunder you're hoping for
Yeah.
still doesn't quite work.
It's one of those cases of, well, the operation was a success, but the patient didn't survive anyhow.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to survive this game, Deac. For the first time in a long time, he's up on the clock. Actually,
Yeah.
ever since move 40, he's just been in bullet mode, in blitz mode. Deac playing every move instantly. I think just in the knowledge that his position's hopeless. Why stick around? Why mess around? You can see it on the camera. He doesn't look too enthused. I'm expecting actually the king to move just to release the bishop. But yeah, everything wins. Rook e3 wins. Probably d3 wins, but no need to allow this idea you mentioned.
Oh,
Bianca h2 check instead. What's he going to do? How's he going to finish this game off? He spotted something concrete. Now he's going to push the d pawn.
yep.
This is really clever. Now the bishop is totally stuck and handshake.
Handshake. And we now have a 3-way tie from the open section. Vidit winning to reach 7.5 points. What an incredible day of chess.
tournament of his life. Vidit, after losing round 1, he's just stormed through every other game, and I just want to point out how beautiful this is. H2, deflecting the white knight. If it takes this pawn, it would drop the bishop. This check, instead forcing the king into the corner, and now d3. Bishop b4 is unavailable because of a nice checkmate, catching the king in the corner. White is simply paralyzed. This pawn is marching down the board.